once again, sorry for the technical difficulties he's been going on tonight. So of course, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Victorious One podcast. So I go by the name of Vaughn Jr. And of course, for those that are watching by way of YouTube, you can follow on YouTube /Vaughn Jr. And of course, you can follow on the on the different social media handles there at the bottom of the screen. Of course, you're scrolling. Of course, on Twitter, 301 King Von Jr. On IG at Mr. King Von Jr. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by Unpopular Review. And so of course, without further ado, of course, this past weekend, we saw Backlash in Puerto Rico, and it was an amazing turnout. It was incredible. It didn't numbers in terms of in terms of like this post WrestleMania season that we're in right now, and it was a great way to kick off. As we're moving forward, towards Roman's march to 1,000 days, even though he wasn't part of Backlash, but another story. So of course I want to get into that as well. Get that, and also along with congratulations to Belair from Raw Women's Champion over 400 days. So now it's like 402 days at this point. And so like how she's further cemented into that John Cena territory. She's the female, John Cena, Jane Cena territory in more ways. One, not just in terms of the way that in terms of how dominant her reign is, how strong she is, as a baby face, but also when it comes to the crowd, especially surprisingly on Saturday. It was very out of character for Frau to to give her the type of response that of course meaning booze, but of course more on that later. But like I said, it's in term, I also want to talk about it's term Stratus turning the dial up as far as heel, and I was like very much impressed. You know what I mean? So and plus with the way things, I'm trying to decide with stuff like with the title of this episode is going to be, just because how impactful, how much of an impact Trish has been making as a heel. And I was like, okay, this is, like I say, very, very impressive. And I know there are people who weren't really that invested first, by way of, especially when it came to her opening, of course, like, when she made a return, of course, I knew that, that Trish would move the needle the way she has so far. So as far as that, like I said, she's certainly in the corner, especially with this turn. But of course, like I said, more on that a little later. And of course, I'm going to get my Backlash review. So I'll say like as far as like I said, Backlash from top to bottom is was very, very solid. Of course, shout out to the size appearance from Vega, as well as Carlito and just LWO themselves, so especially that Bunny versus Damian Priest match, that was absolute highlight of the night. You know what I mean? And and that's like match of the year candidate. They all across the board. That as far as that's one street fight, Bad Bunny. Like I said, Bad Bunny did not play any games at all. Like whenever he's with WWE, he is locked in, fully invested. Whenever he does not have anything that's taken to schedule, whenever schedule is clear to make a WWE appearance, he shows up. He puts in work, he puts in the time. It's very evident. But his work in the ring, and so and the fact that he was able to do, I guess I'm getting myself, but like I said, the fact that he do Canadian Destroyer and just how clean it looked how clean it looked on Dame Priest. That was absolutely exceptional, and Bad Bunny just came from the Met Gala, and and see, he was all about that business. He was all about the action. By the time he gets into WWE, and it was very much evident when it came to that, and just the way the LWO dominant Judgment Day, and also just with the way that it with the way that Bunny got the W, over the Priest. Like I said, that was absolutely exceptional. Also, so of course, congratulations, shout out to Zelina Vega for having the moment that she had, for her Maria Ripley with the way that she unveiled that Puerto Rican flag at a cape, and just that ovation that she had, just like so all in, you know what I mean, and so like I said, I was absolute support of Zelina, just in that spotlight, the opportunity to to have the opportunity to have that moment, because like I said, as nice as Zelina is, let's be honest, if this was in a neutral location anywhere else, more like, she certainly wouldn't not in the title picture. More than likely, she probably wouldn't even be on the card whatsoever. You know what I mean? No offense, probably in catering, sir. Just the way that she's seen with the way that she's, well, not completely in catering, but the thing is, like, she probably wouldn't even have matched on the card. She might have been a LWO manager, if they happen to have had a match, but for her to be in such a high profile position, and for her to perform the way that she did, shout out to Selena's mom, for bringing out that chocolate. I thought that was pretty cool, and that certainly, of course, throwback to Latino traditions, in terms of, in terms of that, like, whereas here in America, we're especially in Black households, we're known for we're known for eating belts, which is you name it. But for them, it's chocolate. I kind of wish that that they would have used that at WrestleMania, but that's neither here nor there. It was still very entertaining. But of course, and I knew Rhea was going to retain the championship. And what I mean, and of course, I shout to Rhea for having a change of pace. We were wearing all white outfit. And so I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. Certainly, you certainly want to get WWE 2K. It's it's going to be a nice swap. So, sort of like a change of pace, if you will. And like, what I mean, and so like I've seen it, like I said, so like I said, I look forward to I look forward to like I said, if like I said, when it comes to 2K, I look forward to doing that, sort of like palette swap, sort of like color change when it comes to Riz, some just other ones, but that's neither there. Like I seen the match, it was pretty solid. You know what I mean? And also, of course, another thing I wanted to talk about when it came to Backlash was Bianca. And I'll say when it was to the women's match, her and EO by far had the best match tonight when it came to the women's championship matches. Like I said, it was very surprising to hear that hear that reaction, like to hear the reaction that Bianca got when it came to, excuse me, never ever heard anybody give Bianca any booze whatsoever. I mean, like, she's one of the most beloved, one of the last people on your lists to boo. but I guess I guess in Puerto Rico, it was when we care about all that. I mean, so and plus I think EO has performed in front of them before, whatever. So I guess they have their own have their own sort of favorites. Even if it's somebody that's not from that's not from even if it's somebody that's from their country, but if somebody who's wrestled in front of them and has done very well in front of them, then they're automatically going to gravitate towards them. So and so I guess in that case, it was EO. And of course, by the way, EO's birthday was this past Monday as well. So spoiler alert for those, since I'm doing birthday shout out. Like I said, just shout out to EO Scott. And of course that match absolutely delivered, even though there was a spot, that like I said, that was, rough, but in terms of, as we all know, Bianca's famous one arm with the press land, but like I seen with the way the EO land, like I said, that was pretty nervous, but but at the same time, I wouldn't say it necessarily compares, wouldn't say necessarily compared to the way that Bianca had her eye swollen shut by Becky last year's May 38. To the point, could have gotten a concussion and possibly gone blind in her left eye. But of course on Twitter they said word. But when that spy hit, everybody, some people want, just want to jump on Bianca's case about it or whatever. But like I seen that's pretty much unfortunately that's just kind of unfortunately, that's just the way things happen to be on Twitter, unfortunately. But of course, at the same time, I'm still support Bianca. Congratulations, on her win, and of course, and give a shout out to Black Rattling for coming through clutch the way that they did. Because because as a matter of fact, this Monday I just received a really cool Bianca Belair shirt. So I'm gonna see if I could get it real quick. I'm sorry, hold on. This sample, but y'all know if this sample itself or the original, but at least versions. One was original, and the other one was like a sample. But yeah, this is the design right here. For those that have seen on social media, IG, on Facebook. What I mean. So this was absolutely incredible. Team EST, of course. In celebration for being champion. For now 400 days, and and Bianca, she constantly delivers. No matter who her dance partner is, no matter storyline, no matter what storyline she's in, what I mean. So of course, it makes it even better that her and Sharp are both on the same brand. So now, that window's open, and possibilities are endless when it comes to her versus Charlotte, and what in the type storyline, the possibilities that they bring, and also also with the way that it looks like, with the way that it's like damage control maybe crumbling as we speak, at the seams, even though this is, even though what Bianca faced was not exactly the same territory, but whenever I hear like that getting booed, especially the Paris Cena, the first thing I think about is Extreme Rules and when it was versus RBD. Now, it wasn't as toxic, nowhere near as toxic as the Philly crowd. But still, still is, um, if that's her first sort of glad, excuse the expression, um, I do not want to imagine what else would come in the future, right? You know what I mean? Of course, it's way too early to pull the trigger and jump to jump to the conclusions of a Bianca heel turn. It's way too early. She brings in way too much money. You know, it brings in way too much business for them to pull the trigger and switch things up and her heel. Even NXT is nice as a heel. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't quite say yet. Especially when there's so much so much more money that's left on the table. As far as being being a baby, as far being that symbol of just superhuman. Right, it's certainly not turn her heel to speak. With what we saw at WrestleMania 39, with that entrance that she had, so there's no way that they're going to just just throw that drain. I mean, off for the sake of a heel turn. So I mean, so that would be just nuclear heat all together. You know what I mean, and also. Another thing I wanted to bring up, which is what I brought up yesterday, on yesterday on Turnbuckle on Twitter, was the fact that with Bianca's title right now, her reign is longer than John Cena's longest reign as WWE champion in 16 during 16 16 reigns. I know over the course of John Cena's world title reigns, excuse me. Over the course of 16 world title reigns, John Cena's longest reign was 180 days. Bianca has that beat by over 20, and this is only her second reign as champion. So she, and I'm not putting her in the same category legacy wise as as somebody like Cena or whatever, but because that's sort of like her pretty much she that Cena is Cena's her equivalent when it comes to the male right, and so that is automatically going to show up, that parallel automatically going to be connected with her. So why like acknowledge it, right. And like I said, the fact that Bianca's a two-time women's champion, one-time SmackDown champion, one-time Raw champion. So during this reign as Raw champion, she's had the belt for over 400 days. Like John Cena's longest championship run over the course of his career, over 16 title reigns, has been 380 days. So. Like I said, she's certainly, like stepped, and walked right into that territory, right? And so it's just that, like I said, I know that there are people, who want to say that they're starting to grow tired of it. I don't know about anybody else. Certainly not me. You know what I mean? Like I know that there's, and I know that that this Friday eventually, eventually Rhea are gonna have that inevitable title swap. Especially with the with what your brand sense. But and the thing is, I look forward to her carrying the SmackDown flag once again, but of course this time without Becky coming through and just snatch this spot away from her, like she did back in 2021. So what I mean. So if anything, then the EST chance, to carry the smack flag even further than she did before. yeah, of course, those are my thoughts. When it comes to Bianca, when it comes to when it comes to her reign as as the Raw Women's Champion. So it's certainly, what I mean, like I said, like I said, it's certainly the needle when it comes to Raw Women's Championship. It has done great business. It's been super duper impactful. I'm all for these historic title reigns, especially now now we are in an era, where we're seeing more and more champions have longer, more historic record-setting, record-breaking titles. In Bianca's case was the Raw Women's Championship. Obviously, right, where's obviously what we see with Roman, everything's going on with that. The fact that he's on the cusp of on the cusp of driving past Pedro Morales all time, and also now that but of course also when it comes to go and how he's like, if anything, I'm cheering, I'm rooting for supporting to see him on the precipice of surpassing Hunks record as IC champion. So we're in the midst of seeing these impactful, more impactful, more historical title reigns. Compared to before, where the belt was just constantly getting passed around. It's constantly getting passed around like Halloween cake. So if anything, if I had to choose, I'd rather, if I had to choose, I'd rather see, like think the way they are right now when it comes to prestige of championship, and Bianca certainly elevates the prestige of this woman, for the adds to the prestige of this women's title, right? So and so as far as, and like I said, not to continue to just to belabor this, but of course, I also want to talk about of course when it comes to matches, Seth Rollins defeated Omos, so you can say that he's pretty much the giant killer in the race, and with the way he neutralized us and hit him with the top rope. Excuse me, with the way he hit him. The way that he hit him with the top rope curve was absolutely amazing. It was exceptional. Omos has been delivering, like I said, his delivering each time he in a high profile match. So I would say that that Omos has been given a platform to grow leaps and bounds, and he is certainly answering the bell as we speak. Whether it was Crown Jewel at WrestleMania or at Backlash, he's been catching L's, but at the same time, I think that this, I think Omos more gradually is raising his stock, and I'm all for it. Now, when it comes to Seth Rollins, now he is in the tournament, or at least like the finals, for Night of Champions. As we're on the verge of creating a new WWE world, this new WWE world champion, and so like, I feel like the writing's on the wall for Seth to inevitably or possibly become the first that title, especially from what we saw on Raw when he beat Finn Balor. So it's just it's there. It's it's just like right within his line of sight. Yes, and of course, also, also on a Backlash, those defeated Sammy and Matt Riddle, or as I call him, Mick Riddle. So I think that at this point, chapter is pretty much done when it comes to KO and Sammy. But then again, So I have to wait and see what the chief has to say on Friday about how things turned out at the end of the match. When it seemed like that, seemed it was seems more of a crack in the armor, and how Solo, like how Solo nearly blacked out, if you will, almost nailed on brother with the Samoan spike. So things are gonna be very very intriguing, interesting, very testy, if you will. So as far as that, and also also speaking of world title contenders, Cody Rhodes did Brock Lesnar, and just the way that he beat him, the way that he outsmarted brought this whole entire match, especially that spot where the turnbuckle had gotten exposed, and the way so first, it seemed as though Brock's going to give a performance at SummerSlam 2018 when he gave Cena 16 German suplexes and 2 F5s. So it felt like that match, so parts where it felt like that match was starting to go in that direction. However, but then Cody made sure to made sure to not let his foot off the gas from like the minute. So he just is back and Brock, he went after Brock head on with no fear, relentless, no matter what. And I would say that when the turnbuckle got exposed, that's when the tide really started to turn, because Cody had drop kicked Lesnar, with the way that Cody drop kicked his leg or Lesnar's shin or whatever, and caused him to trip and exposed turnbuckle. And apparently Lesnar even blade. So with the way that he bled, the way that his head got busted open, that was natural. Lesnar was pouring like a fountain. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God. I mean, the dude's face was crimson, and Cody went straight to the spot, straight to Brock's most vulnerable point. And so as far as he made sure to neutralize Lesnar, the Cody cutter, as well as Cross, but this time, of course, Lesnar Lesnar wouldn't go down easy. In fact, when Brock Cody locked into that Kimura lock, with of course with that, of course with that, of course, like I said, Cody was able to outsmart Lesnar by using his momentum against him, and Cody used his leverage to lean forward for him, even when Brock still had had his arm in that. And so of course, as Cody leaned in for the pin, the ref counted Brock's shoulders, and so it reminded me of the type of spots that Bret Hart used to do whenever he was whenever he was in a submission hold, where there was many 8 against Piper. When where there was a WrestleMania 8 against Piper, when it was in a sleeper hold, and saw the turnbuckle, and in fact, I've talked about this before. When Bret was in a sleeper hold, what he was, what he did was, he was able to get to the sun. He was able to get that corner where the turnbuckle was, and he pressed his feet on the turnbuckle, and used as less lever, and so of course he put his feet on the top turnbuckle, pressed against it, so he fall back. and land on Piper for pin. And the ref Piper's shoulders, and of course, Brett won the IC title. And of course, it was as Survivor Series '96 against Austin. He used it. Of course, the Survivor Series '96 Austin. Brett used that same play. Whereas when Austin had the $1 million dream, Brett put, of course, Brett put his foot, put both his feet at the top turnbuckle, so he could press and so you could lean in for leverage. So just so you could put just so you could just push his foot off, and leaning back and fall on for the pin. So even in his mission, he was still able to find a way to outsmart opponent and get pin. So Cody does that in a similar fashion. However, instead of being in a sleeper or $1 million dream, he's in the Kimura block. And so Cody was strategic in the way that he was able to outsmart beast himself of Brock Lesnar. However, Brock would not go down without a fight. Because Monday on Raw, Brock got his revenge. Doomsday got revenge on Homelander. For those that know about comics, of course, it was follow DC Comics, and those, and those that follow the boys. If you know, you know. So of course, so as far as that, like I say, it's pretty much going Backlash as well as the Backlash after Backlash, right? So the Backlash afterwards, it's on day, is nearly just as big of a deal as the premium live event itself, right? And it's so of course, definitely going to get Lesnar versus Rhodes Part 2, and shout out to whoever it was that made the graphic that made the artwork for that looked like the Red Dead Redemption 2 cover. I was like, all right, I see that, and so it's a battle of cowboy versus cowboy, right? So of course I look forward to more chapters of the feud, this rivalry, and shout out to Brock for the way that he put Cody, and I like the way this ended with, I like the way that this match ended without making him look weak. Brock is still dominant, but at the same time, at the same time, I don't think they made it look weak. I don't think it look any less. So so as far as that, so as far as belt grade, I would give it maybe like 8 out of 10. WWE titles is, as far as the logo on the front, if I like, as far as if I had to give it a belt grade, I give it like 8 out of 10. Modern WWE titles, right? And so I was going to say, and also now I like the way that this Becky versus Trish feud is pick up even more. It's like into the point where I mean Trish is going to Becky, not on the mic, even on Twitter, and the thing is, and also I like how Trish pulled a page out of Shawn Michaels' book from back in 2005 when Shawn was Montreal, and he called out Bret Hart, and Bret's music would play twice, and Bret wouldn't show up. And and like saying it got to a point where Shawn was already on it. So so obviously start laughing and mocking Bret and stuff like that. I was like, as soon as I saw Trish play Becky's music, Becky not show up, that's what I thought about. I was like, very clever. very, very clever. It was like, this is Trish's element heel. I mean, she is, like, she's absolutely embracing this dark side, embracing, this, like, this treacherous, sinister side, and not that, but the fact she was even taking shots at Becky's country, um, by the way that she took shots at Kevin Patrick, right? And like, talking about, like, and just straight like true cheap heat heel fashion, and go Ireland, and when she Kevin with the cheer up butter card, I was like, oh, that is like the most condescending heelish thing that you could say. I was like, man, I mean, she is like is really, really like going all the way in her bag. When when it comes to that, I was like, you know what? I mean, if you think that might could very well be title of this episode, possibly when like a possibly was the title of the, so when it's all said, so it's kind of between either treacherous Trish, or cheer up Buttercup. If anything, I think it's something, it's pretty right. It's like one of those things. It was like, where it's like, like, of course, like, sort of like right there in front. But yeah, and also, shout out to just, of course, I want to give a shout out to Stephanie Heights on Twitter. Of course, for the recent graphic that she made of Trish and Becky. And I was like, and just the way it looked, I was like, look, and everybody's been saying the same thing. Like, look, um, she definitely got to put a t-shirt, a t-shirt, a hoodie, and and it would be absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was like, okay, if I know, if anything, I for one was certainly, if I for one was wear it, you know what I mean? And so as far as that, of course, we're speaking of Trish, I'm literally wearing, like I say, wearing the Trish Sasha shirt that I got from a Drax Wrestling. Shout out to them, you know what I mean? And and now they also on there was this thread going on where, where people would name matches that be absolute bangers. Like I said, I was, if anything, I was blowing that thread up left and right, you know what I mean? And one of the matches, just one of the matches I mentioned as a dream match that would have been a banger, was Trish versus Sasha, without question. In fact, that was on my WrestleMania dream card. And I know that certainly would not disappoint. And now that, like I said, and of course, now that Trish is back and can really, like, into like the swing of things, now we have, the dream match of Trish Becky, and so, like, and I look forward to that as a sign of things. Especially like, but they're set like Night of Champions, especially when it comes to SummerSlam time. I know they will absolutely hand down, and also, like, and just different type of tricks that that Trish will constantly pull to the point where, as Becky came out, her mic, in fact, was, as Becky came out, and Trish, and as Becky was kind of promo, she was cut off. And so of course, of course, Becky goes to the production, and she sees who cut, and she just tells him. I was like, yeah, you know what? Like I say, this is absolutely the element, and of course, to the point that this feud been taken to Twitter. I was like, Trish is really like working that gimmick. She's really, she's really exercising that gimmick. Had some work for it. You know what I mean? And of course, speaking of people that are embracing their heel side, shout out to Breaker for the way that he is absolutely embracing his dark side, and just the way that he speared Carmelis. I mean, well, speared that guy in half. Might as well have sent him to the room. Shout out to the movie. Like seeing he might send him to the upper room, if not to the shadow realm altogether. I mean, and like I said, I'm very much in that out of everything NXT. That's the thing I'm most invested in right now. So I'm glad that they did not get to the main roster. Did not go to the main roster yet, because there's still much more left. I said there's still so much more in actor. And so what I mean. So as far as this, so it's this overall weekend wrestling, it's in terms of those particular events. Like I said, they if anything, they absolutely delivered. And so like I said, shout out to Treacherous Trish, and shout out to now. I guess you could call dashing Brock Lesnar, as a play on words to play on to Cody's old gimmick name dashing codes. You know what I mean? It's especially with really super duper mean shiner that was born on Raw, but like I said, when it comes to this overall weekend and just week thus far, when it comes to wrestling, absolutely impressed, absolutely amazed. And so of course, of course, I want to give a shout out, congratulations to those wrestling girls for showing up on for showing up on A&E's Most Wanted Treasures episode about X. And like I said, of course, like I said, that was absolutely amazing, incredible. Shout out to Krista B, Queen PR of those wrestling girls, and like I said, he was a friend of theirs, friend of the program. I was absolutely honored. I was absolutely amazed and out of them and the work they do. Like I said, and congratulations, the best is yet to come. And of the best is yet to come. The best this podcast is literally yet to come, very much in the future. And of course, be on the lookout, stay tuned for good things to come. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great night.